it's really possible to have a good hearing throughout your life as long as there is good ear care. That most hearing loss, is preventable. So to having safe strategies for people who work in noisy places or venues or for the audiences, they have to follow certain standard guidelines to prevent noise-induced hearing loss. And to actually, the other message is to actually a call for governments and event organizers to actually do more than what they have been doing in the past.
You also have a pamphlet that talks about how to communicate, because for people, maybe they feel a bit awkward, they don't really know how to, the best way, maybe they don't want to offend. What are the general tips that you'd be able to tell people?
Well, it's twofold. I've got to give tips for the person who is deaf and also for the person who wants to communicate with someone who is deaf. Let's start with the person who is deaf. The person who is deaf has to make aware to the person that they are deaf. In the past there's been a lot of taboo. They rather, they just nod away, making believe that they're understanding everything when really they are not. So they're not helping themselves. So they really have to come forward and just say, don't be shy, and just say, please, I don't hear very well. Can you please repeat that, or can you speak louder? And with respect to someone who wants to speak with someone who is deaf, just be conscious that people who are deaf, they rely on the other senses, which is eyesight. So they need to look to your face, see your expressions, read your lips, to fill in the gaps of what they're missing out from the hearing.
And GHITA, I believe, is part of the World Hearing Forum. So how important is that? What does that mean?
Firstly, GHITA has access to data and resources and contacts at an international level that reputable, they are medically professional, and that data and those resources, if it's available to us, it's available to the rest of Gibraltar. And on the other aspect is that we are putting Gibraltar on the map, and whatever we learn from here, someone else might benefit.
That's internationally. Closer to home, there have been, I believe, some strides made in the GHA with the audiology department. What can you tell us about
Correct.
that?
Very exciting news. Last week we were giving a tour to the new audiology suite, or that's what we are calling it now. Maybe they would change its name in future. But yeah, once the GHA users start to visit those premises, they're never haven't seen anything like it in Gibraltar before. It's got a testing booth for programming and hearing aids. They've got a separate hearing test booth for adults and a bespoke one for children, because it's more elaborate to actually test the hearing on a toddler than an adult. And it's very accessible for wheelchair users with a lower counter. So it's top marks from ourselves to them. And now what's left is to have for the place to be properly manned, because if we want to increase capacity and for waiting lists to be shortened, according to the World Health Organization, when someone is diagnosed with a loss, in 3 months' time, they should be tackled with a hearing aid or a surgical procedure, whatever is needed. And so now waiting lists in the past and as of recent do grow to like nearly a year. So that's unacceptable in that sense. But for that to happen, they need manpower. At the moment, there's only one audiologist. So there's no point of having 3 different rooms. It's only one of the rooms is being used at any given time.